So hello everyone, today I'm going to review my Terrorsaur, my Transformers Kingdom Golden Disc Terrorsaur figure. So here he is, this is my Terrorsaur. So first let's get a nice close-up of him. There he is with his yellow beady eyes, as you can see. So we're going to do a quick rundown. He comes with his, I'll be discussing his accessories a little bit later, but right now let's take a look at the figure up close. This is him. There he is, Terrorsaur. It's got these spots going on here. Nice red and silver. That's him from the front view. Side view, back view, you see his pterodactyl head, which really looks like the Beast Wars show I used to watch as a kid, so I'm really happy about that. His wings are sort of nicely tucked over here. More or less nicely tucked. In the cartoon back in the 90s, they were super hidden, but here it's good enough. Did a good enough job of hiding them. And there he is, Terrorsaur. So, well, I'll be discussing his accessories. So Terrorsaur comes from the Golden Disc collection, and sure enough, he's got this accessory over here, the Golden Disc. Kind of like, yeah, it's like from the Beast Wars show. There it is from this side. Kind of looks like an old-timey record. It's got some words written there. Over there, the sounds of Earth. So yeah, it's really like an old-timey record. In the rear, we got these symbols going on over here. So if you guys remember the Beast Wars show, there it is. These kind of look like cave paintings, and got this little triangle symbol going on over there. And this sort of looks like a plant. This kind of looks like a hunter. I don't know what this is, but yeah, it's got those designs in the back. So if you guys remember the Beast Wars show, the whole show kicked off with the Predacons stealing the Golden Disc. So Optimus Primal's group responded by going on pursuit, even though they're just a bunch of explorers. So in my head, you know, kind of reminds me of Star Trek in the sense that they're really just explorers, just that they had to respond to the theft. So Primal kind of reminds me somewhat of, in my brain, kind of reminds me somewhat of a Picard or a Captain Kirk type character, you know, leader of a bunch of explorers that had to go after these thieving Predacons. So this is the Golden Disc. His other accessory, of course, is this. This is his blaster. That's his pistol over there. There it is. It's gray, metallic gray with red. Now, going back, this is back to Terrorsaur. Here he is. So I'm going to run you through his articulation. This is his head. His head sort of kind of nods, but to a very low degree. He can turn all around. He's got a nice pointy chin if you see up close. It looks close enough like the cartoon or the animation back in the 90s. It's got those yellow eyes, so that's pretty good. He could stretch out his arm like that. He can go also all around. He also has an elbow bend and a bicep swivel. It's a single joint elbow. You can, of course, you can also bend his forearm, but that is for transformation. But yeah, transformation purposes. So that's the articulation on his arm. He could do the full 360 turn on his waist. It's also part of the transformation, but it could turn around. These are his legs. He could do the splits about this far. His leg goes this much forward, this much backward, kind of impeded by his wing parts. And you can twist his leg around, and he's got a nice knee bend over there. It's not a double jointed knee, but it could really bend way back. You can also bend at the shins, and this is for transformation purposes, and ball and socket for his feet. So that's the articulation of Terrorsaur. So not bad. If you bought this guy, be careful not to lose these pieces over here. They're in the box, and they're kind of very small, so you might accidentally throw the box without seeing them, but be sure to spot these little tiny sections over here for his forearm. They're kind of like blades, I guess, or kind of like a design. There he is. So this is Terrorsaur, nicely painted. It's got the silver and red. Looks pretty close to the series. Now I'm going to get to his transformation in a bit. So to transform your Terrorsaur, what I like to do is I like to spread up his wings over here. His wings, as I mentioned, are nicely tucked, so you can spread them out over there. Now the next thing you'd like to do is this sort of collapses into itself, so you extend it, his entire torso. Tuck away his head over there. Let's tuck his head down over there. Nice and hidden. Turn around his little pterodactyl head. Over here, once this thing is fully extended, see it kind of collapses and becomes a robot, but you could extend that part out. You just have to put his hands nice and tidy. That odd joint in his forearm, you can bend it, and it has a groove over here. So as you can see, there's a groove over here, so you could slot that part over there. I think you can see that over there. There. Do that on the other side as well. Now on the back, you could lift up his little tail to better get you twisted, because his whole waist's supposed to twist. And after that, you twist this. You twist this. And after that, he sort of does a squatting position. As you can see, there's a little hole over here, and that pegs over here to this peg. So you got that one going on to bend it over here. There. He kind of looks like a guy whose knees are who's sitting down in a squatting position over there, and there he is. And lower down his head, and that's pretty much Terrorsaur. The cool thing about this guy is he could sort of be like in a seated position like this, like he's walking around and all like, "Oh, Megatron, what are we gonna do?" So it's called that. Or you could make him on his flight position, which is like this. So he's fairly easy to transform. As you can see, he's got articulation in his beak, and he is a pterodactyl because, you know, he's got teeth. Yeah, just like a pterodactyl should. And you could turn his head around as well. Does a full 360 on his head. So he looks pretty good. My only gripe about this guy is pretty much he's a great retooling of Airazor. Though I kind of wish they made him into a Voyager, because this guy's alright, but he's a little bit too short for me. I remember Terrorsaur being a little bit taller than Optimus Primal, where in this case this guy is a little shorter than Optimus Primal, because he's a deluxe, and he's just a little bit taller than Airazor. Whereas in the show, I remember him being kind of tall and lanky. He kind of reminds me of the wrestler Edge, long legs. So they could have made the legs a little bit longer, but that's my only gripe. But other than that, it's pretty cool. I just wish they put just a little quarter of an inch longer here to make him a little bit taller. But other than that, it's still a nice overall figure. And there he is over there, standing pretty majestically. He's got slots over here, so you could actually put his gun for storage if you want. You could peg it on either side, but I find it kind of weird, so I usually just keep it away. This is him in bird mode, or pterodactyl mode. So now I'm going to transform him back. So it's just reversing the process. Over there. Just got to get those legs out. Lift up the tail. Twist his body. Twist his legs. Twist his little feet. You know, straighten out his arms. Pull back the head. Pull up his robot head over there. Kind of make it collapse into itself. Like that. Twist that head, put it back. And the wings, do the massive folds. So there's a peg over here, so you could peg this part, make it collapse into itself as well. And peg it in that hole over here. So there it is. Fold it up real nicely. So he's pretty easy to transform and fun to transform. He's really a lot like Airazor, and I like Airazor, and they transform about the same. My only gripe is I just wish this guy was a Voyager, or he was just a little bit taller, because he's a little bit, I expect him to be a little bit taller. But other than that, it's a nice figure. This thing's pretty hard to come by where I'm from, so I'm very glad that I was able to purchase one with his golden disc and his blaster. And he fell, but you had to stand him up. There's some upgrade kits you could buy, because in the show he had those shoulder-mounted cannons here, which were super cool. And you can buy some third-party upgrades for that if you wish. Pegs here to make him look more show accurate. He also has a bigger version of his gun, like in that episode where he was like, you know, he could absorb this energon, and he like kicked Megatron's ass and became their leader for a while. So you could buy the upgrades for that. But here is my Kingdom Golden Disc Collection Terrorsaur. I also had the original Terrorsaur back in the day, the 90s, and he was also small. I expected him to be bigger, but he was kind of like Rat Trap's height back in the day. But here is my Terrorsaur next to his wingman, Waspinator. And their size is pretty good. But yeah, he sizes up pretty well with Waspinator for me. Not bad, not bad. But my only issue is when he is with Primal, he is shorter. Whereas I remember in the show, he's a little bit like taller, kind of like this. I mean, Primal is more muscular and stockier, but this guy's kind of tall and lanky, like a, you know, kind of like, I imagine Primal's like Triple H, and I imagine this guy being like Edge. Something like that. But it's a minor gripe, perhaps. I was just hoping they made him a little bit taller, but other than that, the figure for me is very, very nice. I really like it. Except for his height. That's him with his buddies over there. So there they are. Primal, by the way, is a Voyager, and these two are deluxes. Maybe if he was this tall, it would be perfect. But besides from that, I really love this figure. So that's him with his buddies. I hope you guys liked the review. See you next time. And yeah, thanks for watching. Terrorsaur, terrorize!